A child is a child. Children everywhere must be protected at all times and must never come under attack. This is a statement issued by the UNICEF, an agency of the United Nations working in over 190 countries, saving children's lives, defending their rights, and helping them fulfill their potential. On the 7th of October, when hundreds of Hamas fighters infiltrated into southern Israel and carried out their attack, the disturbing details that emerged were of children and also of some elderly getting killed and taken hostage. The world then sympathized with the plight of the Israeli kids, condemned Hamas's violence and also demanded justice and stood in solidarity with Israel. But Israel's response has been that of daily bombings that has snuffed out entire families and their bloodlines, including children. In the last 7 weeks of the Israel-Palestine conflict, the Gaza Strip has borne witness to a devastating toll on its children, caused by the relentless campaign of Israeli bombings. One shudders to even imagine the total casualties of this war, not to mention the profound changes the young, impressionable minds would have gone through. The trauma, shock, and the sheer horror of what the children have been exposed to will without a doubt alter their lives forever.
November 20th is celebrated annually as World's Children's Day. A global initiative, the day is used to promote children's rights, safety, education, health, and happiness. This year, it came amid the raging Israel-Palestine conflict. According to UNICEF, children make up 47% of Gaza's 2.3 million population. Since the 7th of October, reportedly over 5,500 children have been killed in daily Israeli bombings. That is, one Palestinian child is killed every 10 minutes, or 1 out of every 200 children in the Gaza Strip has been killed. Heart-wrenching stories such as that of 33-year-old Fida has tragically been a constant ever since the bombings began.
They destroyed an entire neighborhood, and no less than 50 martyrs were recovered from the rubble. I walked over 50 bodies looking for my son. My son, whom I was happy to see grow by every centimeter, they robbed him from me. I was looking for body parts for my son. In the end, my other younger son told me, "Mom, here's Uday." I could only identify him by his belt. He was wearing all black. I couldn't identify him at first because of the fire and the dust.
At least an additional 1,800 children are missing under the rubble, most of them presumed dead. A further 9,000 children have been injured, many of them with life-changing consequences. One shudders to imagine the trauma of multiple wars they have lived through. A month into the war, on the 6th of November, the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres likened the bombarded Gaza Strip to a graveyard for children and urged for an immediate ceasefire.
Gaza is becoming a graveyard for children. Hundreds of girls and boys are reportedly being killed or injured every day. The way forward is clear. A humanitarian ceasefire now. All parties respecting all their obligations under international humanitarian law now. This means the unconditional release of the hostages in Gaza now. Nothing can justify the deliberate torture, killing, injuring, and kidnapping of civilians. The protection of civilians must be paramount. I'm deeply concerned about clear violations of international humanitarian law that we are witnessing. Let me be clear, no party to an armed conflict is above international humanitarian law.
Apart from the daily attacks, Israel's total blockade on Gaza meant no food or water could enter Gaza territory. Gazans, especially children, found themselves at risk of dehydration and malnourishment, even though they were prioritized by their families for whatever little supplies available to them. For those lucky enough to survive these indiscriminate attacks, learning to survive without their family members could be a lifelong struggle. Reportedly, many more children have been killed in Gaza every day compared with Ukraine, Afghanistan, Iraq, and other conflict zones. Not that any reminder is needed, but a child, whether an Israeli or Palestinian, is a child and must be protected.